Most people lose their lives before breakfast, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they wake up waiting for motivation, and motivation never shows up on schedule. Let me tell you the truth without soft words. If you wait to feel like taking action, you will remain exactly where you are. Power does not come from inspiration. Power comes from commanding yourself to move. Every morning is a battlefield. The alarm clock is not a sound, it is a decision. Snooze is not rest, it is surrender. The moment you wake up, two voices speak. One says, wait, be comfortable, you can start later. The other says nothing. It simply waits for you to act. That silent voice is discipline. Discipline does not negotiate. Discipline does not explain. Discipline gives one order, move. Your future is not built in grand moments. It is built in ordinary mornings when no one is watching, when you force yourself to act before excuses wake up. You gain authority over your mind, and the person who controls their mind controls their destiny. Here is a law. Few people understand. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't get confidence before action, you get confidence from action. You don't get motivation before action, you get motivation after movement begins. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for fire without striking the match. Every morning, action must come first. Thoughts follow later. The most dangerous habit is delay. Delay dresses itself as logic. It whispers, you're tired. It whispers, tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow is a lie told by fear. The habit of delay slowly trains your mind to disobey you. And once your mind stops listening, discipline dies. You must understand this. Self-discipline is self-respect in motion. When you force yourself to act, even when it's uncomfortable, you send a message to your subconscious. I am in control. And the subconscious obeys authority. Great achievements are not created by people who feel inspired. They are created by people who act regardless of mood. Mood is temporary. Character is permanent. If you only act when conditions are perfect, you will never act at all. Conditions obey momentum, not wishes. Morning action builds momentum. Momentum silences doubt. Doubt disappears when movement begins. This is why successful people guard their mornings like a fortress. Before the world makes demands, before noise, before distractions. They take decisive action. One task, one disciplined move, one command followed without argument. That single action sets the tone for the entire day. When you win the morning, resistance weakens. When you lose the morning, excuses multiply. Understand this deeply. Your mind is trained by what you repeatedly do first. If the first thing you do is hesitate, you are training weakness. If the first thing you do is act, you are training power. Pain is unavoidable. You will feel pain whether you act or not. The pain of discipline lasts minutes. The pain of regret lasts years. Choose wisely. No one is coming to push you. No one will hold you accountable. Your life will only change when you decide to command it. Success is not about knowing what to do. It is about doing what you know. Daily, relentlessly, without emotion, force yourself to act when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because every time you do, you become someone stronger than yesterday. And one day, without warning, discipline will no longer feel like force. It will feel like identity. You will no longer chase motivation. You will command action, and life, without resistance, will respond. Action creates power, not thought. Thought without action is a quiet form of self-betrayal. Millions of people think, plan, imagine, and dream every single day, yet their lives never move an inch forward. Why? Because power is never born in the mind alone. Power is born the moment thought is foe. Our seed into motion. Ideas are cheap. Intentions are weak. Only action carries weight in the real world. The mind loves comfort. It loves preparation without execution. It loves the illusion of progress that comes from overthinking. But the universe does not reward thinking. It responds to movement. Life only answers those who step forward, not those who wait for certainty. Waiting feels safe, but safety has never created strength. The truth most people avoid is simple. Clarity comes after action, not before it. You do not act because you feel ready. You feel ready because you acted. Confidence is not a gift you receive, it is a muscle you build. Every decisive step strengthens it. Every hesitation weakens it. The mind learns who is in control by watching what you do, not by listening to what you say. Every morning presents a silent test, not a test of intelligence, but a test of command. Will you obey comfort, or will you obey discipline? The body may resist, the mind may complain, but power grows the moment you move anyway. Discipline is not gentle, discipline is firm. It does not ask how you feel. It tells you what must be done. Most people wait for motivation, unaware that motivation is a follower, not a leader. It shows up after momentum begins. Action is the spark. Motion creates emotion. Stillness breeds doubt. The longer you wait, the heavier the resistance becomes. But the moment you act, resistance weakens. Fear retreats when confronted. Doubt collapses under momentum. Action sharpens the mind. It burns away confusion. While others are trapped in endless thinking, the person who acts learns faster, adapts quicker, and grows stronger. Mistakes made in motion are more valuable than perfect plans made in silence. Failure in action teaches. Failure to act teaches nothing. The habit of delay is the most dangerous habit of all. It disguises itself as logic. It says tomorrow will be better, later will be easier, someday will be right. But tomorrow is controlled by today, later is built from now, someday never arrives. Delay slowly trains the mind to ignore commands. Each time you hesitate, you weaken your authority over yourself. Self-command is the foundation of all achievement. If you cannot force yourself to act, you cannot expect life to change. Freedom is not doing what you want. Freedom is being able to do what you must, even when you do not want to. The disciplined person is not trapped, they are powerful. They move while others wait. They build while others hope. Small actions taken daily outperform massive intentions repeated occasionally. Great results are not created by dramatic moments, but by ordinary actions executed consistently. Power compounds. Momentum multiplies. One disciplined action leads to another. Soon effort becomes rhythm, and rhythm becomes identity. Pain is unavoidable. You will feel discomfort whether you act or not. The pain of action is sharp but brief. The pain of regret is slow and permanent. The mind tries to avoid pain by choosing comfort, but comfort carries the heaviest cost. Every avoided action leaves a mark. Every ignored responsibility adds weight. Action demands courage, but it also creates courage. You do not become brave by waiting. You become brave by moving through fear. Fear survives on hesitation. It weakens when challenged. The more you act despite fear, the quieter fear becomes. The world does not reward potential. It rewards proof. It does not respond to promises you make to yourself. It responds to visible effort. Life bends toward those who move decisively. Opportunity recognizes motion. Luck favors momentum. If you want power, stop negotiating with yourself. Stop waiting for the perfect mood. Stop preparing endlessly. Decide, move, and adjust along the way. Command your morning, and you command your day. Command your day, and you command your future. Action creates power, not thought. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you step closer to the person you are meant to become. Mornings decide your identity, not your intentions, not your dreams, not what you promise yourself at night. Who you become is decided in the first quiet hours of the day when no one is watching and excuses feel reasonable. That moment when you wake up is not small. It is a declaration. It tells the world, and more importantly, it tells your mind who is in control. Most people underestimate the power of mornings because they look ordinary. An alarm rings. The room is silent. The body feels heavy. But inside that ordinary moment is an extraordinary choice. Will you obey comfort, or will you command yourself to act? That decision repeats daily, and repetition becomes character. Your mind is trained every morning. It learns whether your words matter or whether comfort has authority. When you hit snooze, you are not just delaying time. You are teaching your mind that resistance wins. When you rise immediately, even when you do not feel like it, you teach your mind that commands are meant to be followed. Identity is not what you say you are. Identity is what you practice consistently. And nothing reveals your true identity faster than how you start your day. The morning is pure. It has not been contaminated by distractions, opinions, or demands. What you do in that space shapes how you show up everywhere else. Weak mornings create weak negotiations throughout the day. Strong mornings create decisive action without debate. When you lose control early, you spend the rest of the day trying to recover authority. When you win early, momentum carries you forward without effort. Most people wait for motivation in the morning. They check their feelings before they check their discipline. But feelings are unreliable. They change with sleep, weather, and mood. Discipline does not change. Discipline acts. And action in the morning sets a standard the rest of the day is forced to follow. There is a reason successful people protect their mornings fiercely. Not because mornings are magical, but because habits are obedient. Whatever you do first becomes the tone. If the first action is hesitation, everything after becomes slower. If the first action is decisive, everything after becomes sharper. The morning is where excuses are born. The body wants comfort. The mind offers rational explanations. Just 5 more minutes. Just today. Just this once. These small compromises seem harmless, but they are identity killers. Each compromise weakens self-command. Each surrender makes the next one easier. Discipline practiced in the morning builds respect within yourself. And self-respect is power. When you respect your own word, confidence grows naturally. You no longer need external validation. You trust yourself because you have proof. Proof is built through consistent morning action. Mornings reveal priorities. You do what matters most first, or you don't do it at all. If growth, progress, and mastery matter, they must appear before distractions. Once the world enters your day, it will demand everything. If you have not already invested in yourself, the day will drain you. Your future is shaped before most people wake up. While others delay, complain, and scroll, disciplined action creates distance. That distance compounds. Over weeks, it becomes advantage. Over months, it becomes identity. Over years, it becomes destiny. The hardest part of the day is the beginning. That is why it matters most. Anyone can act when energy is high and pressure is gone. Strength is revealed when resistance is present. The morning is resistance in its purest form. Overcoming it builds inner authority. Every morning you face yourself. No audience, no applause, just a quiet test of integrity. Will you honor the standard you set, or will you lower it again? Standards are not maintained through motivation. They are maintained through repeated action. Action in the morning simplifies life. It removes overthinking. It quiets anxiety. It replaces chaos with structure. The mind relaxes when it knows someone is in charge. That someone must be you. You do not need a perfect routine. You need a decisive start. One intentional action done immediately trains your nervous system for control. Movement breaks mental resistance. Motion creates clarity. Stillness feeds doubt. Your identity is shaped in silence long before it is visible to the world. The world sees results. It never sees the mornings that created them. That is why most people misunderstand success. They admire outcomes but ignore origins. Mornings decide your identity because they reveal your relationship with yourself. Do you lead or do you follow your impulses? Do you command or do you negotiate? These answers are written daily, not spoken. When you control your morning, you stop drifting, you stop reacting, you become deliberate. Deliberate people are rare. Rare people are powerful. Each disciplined morning strengthens the belief that you can be trusted. That belief becomes confidence. Confidence becomes action. Action becomes results. Results reinforce identity. Mornings decide your identity, and identity decides everything that follows. Discipline is a command, not a feeling. Feelings are unreliable, inconsistent, and easily manipulated by comfort, fear, and mood. Discipline does not wait for permission from emotion. It does not ask how tired you are, how inspired you feel, or whether conditions are perfect. Discipline speaks once, clearly, and expects obedience. The moment you understand this, your life begins to change. Most people are controlled by feelings without realizing it. They wake up and check their mood before they check their responsibilities. If they feel strong, they act. If they feel tired, they delay. This pattern slowly hands authority over their life to emotion. And emotion has no loyalty. It changes daily, sometimes hourly. A life ruled by feeling will always be unstable. Discipline is different. Discipline is leadership over yourself. It is the ability to give an order and follow it without negotiation. When you decide to act and act immediately, you are training your mind to recognize authority. That authority must be you. Without it, the mind drifts toward comfort, excuses, and avoidance. Feelings want relief. Discipline wants results. Feelings seek ease. Discipline seeks growth. These two are often in conflict. That is why discipline feels uncomfortable at first. It challenges the part of you that wants safety over progress. But discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is evidence of expansion. Every time you act without feeling like it, you strengthen an internal muscle. That muscle is self-command. Self-command is rare, and rarity creates power. The disciplined person is not stronger physically or smarter mentally. They are stronger in decision. They do not argue with themselves. They move. Waiting to feel ready is a trap. Readiness is created by movement, not by waiting. The mind gains confidence after action, not before. Discipline understands this law. It acts first and allows confidence to catch up later. That is why disciplined people appear confident even when they are uncertain. They trust action more than emotion. Emotion will always provide reasons to stop. Discipline provides reasons to continue. When you are tired, emotion says rest. Discipline says finish the task. When you are afraid, emotion says avoid. Discipline says face it. When progress feels slow, emotion says quit. Discipline says persist. The world rewards discipline, not feelings. Results do not care how motivated you were. They only reflect what you consistently did. Effort applied daily beats enthusiasm applied occasionally. Discipline turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes through repetition. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it is punishment. They think it is restriction. In reality, discipline is freedom. When you can command yourself, you are no longer controlled by impulse. You are no longer pulled in every direction by distraction. You choose deliberately. Freedom is not doing whatever you feel like doing. That is chaos. Freedom is being able to do what must be done regardless of feeling. That ability separates leaders from followers, creators from consumers, builders from dreamers. Discipline simplifies life. It removes decision fatigue. When something is a command, there is no debate. Debate drains energy. Command preserves it. The disciplined person does not waste mental power arguing with themselves every morning. They move, and the mind follows. Consistency is the visible proof of discipline. Talent can impress once. Discipline impresses forever. Small actions done without emotion day after day create an unbreakable structure. That structure supports growth even when motivation disappears. There will be days when discipline feels heavy. Those are the most important days. Anyone can act when energy is high and circumstances are easy. Strength is built when resistance is present. Discipline thrives under resistance. It grows stronger each time it is tested. Every skipped commitment weakens discipline. Every honored commitment strengthens it. The mind is always learning from your behavior. If you break promises to yourself, your mind stops believing you. If you keep them, trust grows. Trust creates confidence. Confidence fuels action. Discipline does not need applause. It works in silence. It does not care if anyone notices. Its reward is internal control. And internal control eventually produces external results that cannot be ignored. Emotion is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Emotion reacts. Discipline decides. Emotion seeks comfort. Discipline builds character. One leads to stagnation. The other leads to growth. If you want to change your life, stop asking how you feel and start issuing commands. Decide what must be done and do it immediately. Do not wait for the right mood. Create momentum and let mood follow. Discipline is not loud. It does not announce itself. It shows up daily, quietly, relentlessly. And over time, it transforms ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Discipline is a command, not a feeling, and the moment you obey it consistently, your life aligns with power. Consistency beats talent every time. Talent is impressive, but it is unreliable. It appears strong at the beginning and fades when pressure, boredom, or resistance arrives. Consistency does not depend on excitement or recognition. It shows up whether the work feels easy or heavy. That is why consistency always wins in the long run. Talent can open doors, but consistency walks through them. Many gifted people start fast and disappear quietly. They rely on ability and wait for inspiration, believing their talent will carry them. But talent without repetition has no endurance. When effort becomes uncomfortable, talent often retreats. Consistency is built on discipline, not desire. It does not ask if today feels special. It only asks if the work will be done. That quiet commitment compounds daily. Small actions repeated with focus become powerful forces over time. What looks ordinary in a single day becomes extraordinary across years. The world is full of talented people who never mastered consistency. They chase new beginnings but avoid long processes. They love the idea of progress but resist the routine that creates it. Consistency is not exciting, it is effective. And effectiveness outperforms excitement every time. Skill is sharpened through repetition. Confidence is earned through follow-through. Mastery is built through consistency. The person who shows up daily, even imperfectly, will eventually surpass the person who shows up occasionally. With brilliance, consistency trains the mind to trust itself. Each completed action reinforces the belief that effort leads to progress. That belief creates momentum. Momentum removes hesitation. Hesitation is what stops talented PEO. flee from reaching their potential. Talent often depends on circumstances. When conditions are ideal, talent shines. But when conditions change, talent struggles. Consistency adapts. It adjusts, learns, and continues. It does not panic when progress feels slow. It understands that growth is cumulative. Most breakthroughs are the result of long periods of invisible work. The public sees the outcome, not the routine that built it. They admire the result, but ignore the daily discipline that made it inevitable. Consistency works in silence until it cannot be ignored. There is no shortcut that replaces consistency. Speed without stability leads to collapse. Quick wins without habits disappear. Consistency builds a foundation strong enough to support lasting success. That foundation is created one day at a time. Consistency also builds resilience. When setbacks occur, the consistent person does not quit. They adjust and continue. Quitting is not an option because the habit of showing up is stronger than the urge to stop. That resilience is more valuable than raw ability. Talent can create flashes of success. Consistency creates careers, legacies, and impact. One excites briefly. The other endures. Endurance always outlasts intensity. Consistency removes fear of failure. When action is habitual, failure becomes feedback, not identity. The consistent person is not emotionally attached to single outcomes. They trust the process because they have seen it work repeatedly. Discipline fuels consistency. Discipline does not rely on motivation. It relies on commitment. That commitment creates a rhythm. Rhythm makes progress automatic. Automatic progress builds confidence without noise. Many people waste time searching for their talent instead of building consistency. Talent is revealed and refined through repetition. You do not discover what you are capable of by waiting. You discover it by working daily. Consistency turns average effort into exceptional results. It closes the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It does not rush, it does not pause. It advances steadily. Every day you choose consistency, you gain an advantage. Most people quit when results are slow. Consistency keeps going. That is why it wins. It outlasts doubt, distraction, and difficulty. The consistent person does not need to be the best. They only need to be present every day. Presence builds progress. Progress builds mastery. Mastery builds success. Consistency beats talent because it never leaves the work unfinished. It never waits for the perfect moment. It builds quietly, relentlessly, and without exception. Consistency beats talent every time. Delay is the enemy of destiny, not failure, not lack of resources, not even fear. More dreams have been destroyed by delay than by any obstacle the world could offer. Delay feels harmless. It feels reasonable. It pretends to be patience, preparation, or timing. But delay is deception. It slowly disconnects intention from action until destiny fades into regret. Every great outcome begins with a decision followed immediately by movement. The moment you delay, power leaks away. Energy cools, courage weakens. What once felt urgent begins to feel optional. Delay gives fear time to speak, and fear always sounds intelligent. It uses logic, it uses caution. It says later will be safer, easier, smarter. But later never builds momentum. Only now does delay trains the mind to hesitate. Each time you postpone action, you reinforce a dangerous habit. The mind learns that commands are negotiable. Once negotiation begins, discipline collapses. And without discipline, destiny has no vehicle to travel through life. Most people do not fail because they choose the wrong path. They fail because they never fully step onto any path. They stand at the edge of opportunity, waiting for certainty. But certainty is not a prerequisite for action. Action creates certainty. Movement reveals the way forward. Delay keeps Eve. Writhing unclear, time does not pause for preparation. Life does not wait for confidence. Opportunity does not announce itself twice. Delay assumes there will always be another chance. Reality rarely offers repeats. The moment you hesitate, someone else moves. The world rewards speed of execution, not perfection of intention. Delay drains self-trust. When you tell yourself you will act and then do not, something breaks internally. The mind starts to doubt your word. Over time, that doubt becomes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who follows through. And once that belief settles, destiny feels distant and unrealistic. The most dangerous delays are small ones. 5 minutes becomes an hour. An hour becomes a day becomes a year. Delay rarely arrives dramatically. It slips in quietly, disguised as comfort. By the time it is recognized, momentum is gone. Delay also feeds fear. Fear grows strongest in stillness. When you remain motionless, the mind imagines every possible risk. But action shrinks fear. Movement exposes exaggeration. Once you step forward, most imagined obstacles lose their power. Destiny requires urgency, not panic, but decisiveness. The person who acts while others wait gains an invisible advantage. That advantage compounds. Over time, it becomes distance. Distance becomes leadership. Leadership becomes influence. Delay feels safe because it avoids discomfort, but avoidance is expensive. Every delayed action carries interest. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Resistance increases. Motivation fades. Confidence erodes. Delay turns goals into fantasies. Fantasies feel good but produce nothing. Destiny demands effort, discomfort, and risk. It demands movement when outcomes are uncertain. Those unwilling to act without guarantees will never experience greatness. Most regret is not about what people did wrong. It is about what they never did at all. Opportunities ignored, chances postponed, decisions delayed until circumstances changed. By then, life had moved on. Delay robs mornings of power and days of meaning. It fills time with distraction and noise. The delayed life feels busy but goes nowhere. Activity without direction replaces progress. Movement without commitment replaces growth. Action creates alignment. Delay creates confusion. When you act, priorities clarify. When you wait, priorities blur. The mind becomes scattered. Focus dissolves. Destiny favors the decisive. Not the reckless, but the committed. Commitment requires choosing before comfort agrees. Delay waits for comfort. Destiny moves despite discomfort. Every moment of delay strengthens habits that work against you. Procrastination becomes automatic. Hesitation becomes default. Meanwhile, those who act build momentum that becomes unstoppable. You cannot delay your way into success. You cannot wait your way into greatness. The path forward only reveals itself through movement. Standing still keeps you blind. Delay steals urgency from life. It convinces you there is plenty of time. Time feels abundant until it is gone. Destiny does not wait for realization. It demands action now. The solution is simple, but not easy. Decide quickly, act immediately, adjust later. Progress favors those who move first and refine along the way. Every time you defeat delay, you strengthen self-command. Every time you hesitate, you weaken it. Destiny responds to strength. Delay is not neutral, it is destructive. It quietly pushes destiny further away while pretending to protect you. Delay is the enemy of destiny. Pain of action is temporary, pain of regret is permanent. Every meaningful step forward carries discomfort. Growth has weight. Change demands effort. The body resists, the mind hesitates, and fear rises when action is required. But this pain is sharp, brief, and purposeful. It passes the moment momentum begins. Regret, on the other hand, settles in quietly and stays. It lingers for years, replaying missed chances. And unspoken decisions long after the moment to act has vanished. Most people avoid action to escape discomfort. They choose comfort in the present, believing they are protecting themselves. What they fail to see is the cost. Comfort today often creates suffering tomorrow. The temporary relief of avoiding action trades places with the permanent weight of wondering what could have been. Action pain tests you. Regret haunts you. One strengthens character, the other erodes it. When you act despite fear, you build self-respect. When you hesitate and walk away, something inside weakens. That weakness accumulates, shaping how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. Regret is rarely loud. It does not announce itself in the moment. It grows silently with time. It shows up in quiet nights and unguarded moments. It reminds you of opportunities ignored, risks avoided, and potential left unused. No amount of comfort can erase it. Action pain has a purpose. It teaches discipline, it sharpens focus, it expands capacity. Each time you push through discomfort, you grow stronger. The pain fades, but the growth remains. Regret offers no such reward. It only revisits the past without changing it. Fear exaggerates the pain of action. It convinces you the discomfort will last forever. But fear lies. Most action pain is brief. Once you begin, resistance weakens. Momentum replaces hesitation. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. Regret feeds on delay. The longer you wait, the heavier it becomes. Small decisions avoided turn into major life disappointments. Moments that required courage become memories filled with self-criticism. People rarely regret trying and failing. Failure teaches. Failure builds resilience. Failure can be corrected. What people regret is not trying at all. Silence where action should have been. Comfort chosen over courage. Action builds pride. Even when outcomes fall short, effort creates dignity. You know you showed up. You know you moved forward. That knowledge brings peace. Regret offers no peace. It questions your courage and undermines confidence. Temporary pain is the price of growth. Permanent regret is the cost of avoidance. One is an investment, the other is a loss. Investments yield returns. Losses only leave emptiness. Every opportunity carries an expiration date. Action meets it. Delay misses it. Regret marks the moment when realization comes too late. The pain of action ends when the action is complete. The pain of regret begins when time runs out. One fades with progress. The other deepens with reflection. Regret also shapes future behavior. Those burdened by it hesitate more. They fear repeating mistakes and become cautious to the point of paralysis. Action pain does the opposite. It builds courage. It teaches you that discomfort can be survived. Life rewards those willing to endure short-term pain for long-term gain. Discipline demands sacrifice. Growth demands effort. Avoidance demands nothing up front but charges heavily later. Regret accumulates silently. It does not hurt immediately. It waits. Years later, it asks difficult questions. What if you had tried? What if you had acted? What if you had believed in yourself? Action answers those questions before they can be asked. It removes doubt. It replaces wondering with knowing. Knowing brings closure. Pain of action is honest. It comes from effort. Pain of regret is deceptive. It comes from avoidance disguised as safety. Every moment presents a choice. Move forward and feel temporary discomfort, or step back and risk lifelong regret. The choice is always yours, whether acknowledged or not. Those who act build stories of resilience. Those who hesitate carry stories of regret. Stories shape identity. Identity shapes destiny. The pain of action may challenge you, but it will never betray you. Regret always does. Pain of action is temporary. Pain of regret is permanent. Self-command is the highest form of freedom. Most people believe freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. In reality, that is the fastest path to chaos. Desire without control leads to distraction, weakness, and dependence. True freedom is not the absence of rules. It is the ability to govern yourself regardless of impulse, mood, or circumstance. A person without self-command is not free. They are reactive. Their actions are dictated by emotion, habit, and environment. They move when they feel good and stop when they feel resistance. That is not freedom. That is obedience to comfort. Comfort is a poor master because it always demands more and gives nothing in return. Self-command is the ability to issue an order to yourself and follow it without argument. When you can do that, you are no longer controlled by external pressure or internal excuses. You choose deliberately, you act intentionally, you move forward even when conditions are uncomfortable. The disciplined individual appears strict from the outside, but internally they experience clarity. Their mind is not scattered by endless decisions. Their energy is not wasted on negotiation. They know what must be done and they do it. That simplicity creates power. Impulse feels like freedom in the moment, but it creates long-term restriction. Every impulsive decision adds a hidden cost. Health declines. Focus erodes. Opportunities are missed. Self-command prevents these slow losses. It protects your future by guiding your present. Freedom is not found in unlimited choice. Unlimited choice creates paralysis. Freedom is found in commitment. When you commit to standards, values, and disciplines, you remove confusion. You no longer ask what to do. You act in alignment with who you have decided to be. Self-command builds trust within yourself. Each time you follow through on a decision, your mind learns that your word matters. That trust creates confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action creates results. Results reinforce identity. Without self-command, goals remain ideas. Ideas are fragile. They break under pressure. Self-command turns intention into execution. Execution builds momentum. Momentum changes circumstances. Most people look for freedom outside themselves. They search for the right opportunity, the right person, the right environment. But no environment can free someone who cannot control themselves. The strongest prison is a lack of discipline. Self-command also creates resilience. When you are in control of your actions, setbacks do not destroy you. You adapt. You continue. You do not collapse under discomfort. that resilience is freedom from fear. The world rewards those who can manage themselves. Skill, talent, and intelligence mean little without control. Self-command directs all abilities toward a clear purpose. Without it, even the most gifted individuals drift. Discipline is often misunderstood as limitation. In truth, it is expansion. It expands your capacity to handle responsibility. It expands your tolerance for discomfort. It expands your influence over outcomes. When you control yourself, you do not need external discipline. You do not need supervision, pressure, or force. You become self-led. Self-led individuals create their own paths. They do not wait for permission. Self-command simplifies life. You stop arguing with yourself. You stop making excuses. You stop postponing what you know must be done. That simplicity frees mental space and energy. Freedom without structure collapses. Structure without freedom feels oppressive. Self-command balances both. You choose the structure, and in doing so, you free yourself from chaos. Every disciplined action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, these votes accumulate. Identity shifts. What once required effort becomes natural. Freedom grows as control strengthens. The absence of self-command leaves you vulnerable to every distraction. Technology, opinion, and convenience pull you in different directions. Self-calm and anchors you. It gives you direction amid noise. True freedom is not loud. It does not announce itself. It shows in consistency, focus, and calm under pressure. It is visible in those who act with purpose, regardless of circumstance. Self-command requires sacrifice. You give up immediate pleasure for long-term power. That trade is always worth it. Temporary discomfort creates permanent independence. When you command yourself, you stop asking life for permission. You take responsibility. Responsibility is heavy, but it is also liberating. It places control back in your hands. Self-command is the highest form of freedom because it cannot be taken from you. It is built internally. It grows stronger with use. And once developed, it shapes every outcome that follows. Self-command is the highest form of freedom. Momentum is built before the world wakes up. While the streets are quiet and the noise of opinions is still asleep, the foundation of success is being laid. These early hours are not special because of time on the clock, but because of the absence of distraction. When the world is silent, your actions speak louder. What you do before others begin reacting determines whether you will lead or follow. Most people give their best energy away to noise. They wake up already behind, responding to messages, demands, and problems created by others. By the time they attempt to focus on their own progress, their mental fuel is gone. Momentum is not something you chase later in the day. It is something you create early, deliberately, and without interruption. Early action builds authority over the mind. When you move before excuses wake up, you bypass resistance. The body may still feel tired, but the mind is fresh. That freshness is power. It allows you to think clearly, act decisively, and build progress before doubt has a chance to speak. The early hours are when discipline is most honest. No applause, no pressure, no one watching. You act because you decided to act, not because you were forced. That is where real strength is formed. Strength built in silence carries through the rest of the day. Momentum does not come from large actions. It comes from decisive ones. One completed task early changes your internal state. Confidence rises, focus sharpens, the mind switches from hesitation to execution. That shift is difficult to reverse once established. The world rewards those who move first. While others are still preparing, early movers are already adjusting. They learn faster because they act sooner. They correct mistakes before others even begin. Time becomes an advantage instead of a limitation. Discipline practiced early simplifies everything that follows. Decisions become easier. Distractions lose power. You are no longer trying to start. You are already moving. Starting is the hardest part. Early action removes that obstacle. Most resistance lives in anticipation. The longer you wait, the heavier it becomes. Early action cuts through anticipation. It replaces thinking with doing. Doing quiets fear. Fear fades in motion. The early hours train your identity. They teach your mind whether you are proactive or reactive. That lesson repeats daily. Over time, it becomes belief. Belief shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. Momentum built early carries an emotional charge. You walk into the day already winning. That confidence is subtle but powerful. It changes how you speak, how you decide, how you respond to pressure. The early hours belong to those who understand leverage. 1 hour of focused work before the world wakes can outperform an entire distracted day. Focus multiplies effort. Silence multiplies clarity. Those who consistently move early create distance. That distance compounds. Small daily advantages accumulate into significant results. What looks effortless from the outside is built through disciplined repetition. The world will always try to reclaim your attention. Messages, noise, urgency. If you wait, you will lose control. If you act early, you set the agenda. Control over your time is control over your life. Momentum is fragile at first. It must be protected. Early action shields it from interruption. Once established, it becomes self-sustaining. Energy attracts energy. Progress fuels progress. Early mornings are not about sacrifice. They are about strategy. You are not giving up rest. You are investing focus. The return on that investment is control, clarity, and confidence. Great outcomes are rarely created in chaos. They are created in calm. Calm exists before the world wakes. That calm allows for deliberate movement. Every day offers the same opportunity. Build momentum early or chase it later. Chasing is exhausting. Building is empowering. When you win the morning quietly, the rest of the day follows without resistance. You are no longer pushing uphill. You are guiding momentum forward. Momentum is built before the world wakes up. Decisive action activates opportunity. Opportunity is not passive, and it is not patient. It does not wait for perfect plans, complete confidence, or endless preparation. Opportunity responds to movement. It awakens only when someone steps forward with commitment. Those who hesitate rarely see it clearly. Those who decide and act activate it immediately. Most people believe opportunity comes first and action follows. This belief keeps them stuck. In reality, action comes first. Opportunity reveals itself afterward. Life does not reward hesitation. It responds to decisiveness. When you move with certainty, even in uncertainty, doors begin to appear that were invisible before. Indecision is one of the most costly habits a person can develop. It feels harmless, even intelligent, but it quietly blocks progress. While you weigh options endlessly, time moves on. While you wait for guarantees, chances pass. Opportunity favors speed, not perfection. Decisive action sends a powerful signal to the mind and the world. It says you are serious. It says you trust yourself enough to move forward. That signal creates alignment. Resources, people, and ideas begin to connect. Momentum starts building where stagnation once existed. Opportunity is attracted to clarity. Clarity is created by decisions. When you decide, your focus sharpens. When your focus sharpens, your actions become effective. Effective action creates results. Results attract more opportunity. This cycle only begins when indecision ends. Fear often disguises itself as caution. It convinces you to wait for more information, more confidence, more certainty. But certainty is created through action, not before it. Waiting feels safe, but safety rarely leads to growth. Decisive action feels risky, but risk is where opportunity lives. Those who act decisively learn faster. They adjust quicker. They gain experience while others are still thinking. Mistakes made in motion are valuable. Mistakes avoided through inaction teach nothing. Opportunity prefers learners, not spectators. The world is full of people with ideas. Few turn ideas into execution. Execution is what separates potential from reality.